Now, on Thursday, President Trump announced that he was officially nominating pizza CEO and failed GOP presidential nominee Herman Cain for a seat on the Federal Reserve Board. Now, he told reporters at the White House, quote, "I've recommended Herman Cain. He's a very terrific man, a terrific person. He's a friend of mine. I have recommended him highly for the Fed. I've told my folks that's the man." Okay, well, that's a pretty high endorsement from the president. So it seems likely that he's going to appoint him to that Fed seat. Now, Herman Cain. That's a name that I have not heard in a long time. Since 2012. Since before the dark times. Before Trump. So, look, I want to go through some of his greatest hits, right? But first, before I do that, I want to give a couple of responses here. Now, this is Greg Mankett saying, quote, and he's a Harvard economist, by the way, quote, "President Trump has no respect for expertise. He's more interested in filling the Fed jobs with political allies than people well suited for the positions." Now, look, he hates the Fed right now. He hates got rid of Janet Yellen because they wanted to raise interest rates. Now, look, you lower interest rates when the economy is bad. You raise them when the economy is better. So interest rates is one of the main things that the Fed is actually able to do. They set monetary policy. So, look, Donald Trump's like, no, you don't you dare raise interest rates. It makes my economy look bad. But your economy is basically running on a sugar high of tax cuts for the rich. So that's not the way to actually have a good, expansive economy. If you actually invest in workers and people, and they go out and spend money, it creates jobs, et cetera, right? So now Herman Cain's, look, he got famous back in 2012 for some of his ridiculous policies, and I'm going to go through that in a second. But first, just one quick sentence here from Senator Sherrod Brown saying, quote, "Of this appointment, I thought it was a joke at first." Oh, no, it's a joke, all right. At least to everyone else. I mean, it's Herman freaking Cain. So now let's get into the policy, right? If you can actually call it actual decent policy. Now, he had introduced a policy proposal back in 2012 called the 999 Plan, which, of course, immediately makes me think of the scene in Inglourious Bastards where you had the guy playing Hitler screaming out, 999! I love that. So, but anyway, that plan would have eliminated the tax system entirely, stripped it out, and replaced it with a 9% personal income tax, a 9% corporate income tax, and a 9% national sales tax. It's a pure flat tax, right? So now, that did not go over well with economists who called it, quote, "the most massively regressive redistribution of taxes ever seriously considered." And look, I think the only person seriously considering it was Herman Cain. They warned that this would be a, quote, "huge tax increase on most Americans, but a huge tax cut for the wealthy." Gee, what a shocker. Another plan that helps the rich, and only the rich, at the expense of the middle class. Now, Herman Cain also produced a 6-minute video called 999 the Movie, Slaying the Tax Monster. He also released some pretty ridiculous ads, including a smoking ad, which was weird, where this is like campaign manager or whatever, smoking a cigarette and talking about how, I don't know, great Herman Cain was. And then there was the creepy smile. But I think he's best known probably for this.
It is clear from the discussion tonight that America needs a leader and a uniter. I represent growth. All of the issues that we talk about If we don't get this economic engine moving by putting fuel in the engine, all of the rest of it won't matter. A poet once said, life can be a challenge. Life can seem impossible. But it's never easy when there's so much on the line. We have a lot on the line. Send Washington a message and send a business problem solver to Washington, D.C.
Holy crap. A poet once said, no, it wasn't a poet. It was literally Pokemon. He was reading Pokemon. That's the guy that Trump says, no, that's my guy. He's a genius. Terrific guy. Tremendous. More. We also have this fun exchange between Herman Cain and conservative reporter David Brody. And it's about the president of Uzbekistan.
Are you ready for the gotcha questions? They're coming from the media and others on foreign policy. Who's the president of Uzbekistan? You know, all of this stuff. It's coming.
Yes.
And how are you dealing with that?
I'm ready for the gotcha questions. And they are already starting to come. And when they ask me who's the president of Uzbekistan, I'm going to say, you know, I don't know. Do you know?
Uzbekistan. And hey, you know what? I actually do know. Currently, you want to know who the president of Uzbekistan is? It's actually Shavkat Mirziyoyev, right? So that's the current president. Now, back when they asked that back in 2012, it was actually Islam Karimov, which actually has a much easier name to say than the current president of Uzbekistan. But anyway, you know what? That would have taken him about 2 seconds to look up. You see, there's this thing called Google where you can look up facts and information. I know, it's crazy, right? But look, okay, you can't look it up on the spot, I understand, in the interview. But maybe what you could have said is like, hey, look, I actually don't know, right? But I'm going to get with my staff, and I'm going to start learning about this stuff. I'm going to find out, you know, what all the relevant leaders are that we're dealing with. And, you know, I'm gonna try to represent America to the best of our ability. And it's a learning experience, and here's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to learn the most that I can. But my focus also will primarily be on business. But I will surround myself with great people. Oh my God, I'm sounding like Donald Trump here. I'll surround myself with really smart people, advisors that will help me to learn this stuff so that I know what's going on. So that I can lead America the best that I can. Okay, that's better. That's better than, I don't know. Do you know? But again, he's not a smart person, which is likely why Donald Trump says, "Oh no, that's my guy, Herman Cain." Oh yeah. Also, he's also alleged to have been, to have sexually harassed 2 female employees when he was president of the NRA. Now that's National Restaurant Association. Now Cain, when he was hit with those allegations, was first like, I am unaware that we had any sort of settlement with these women when it comes to sexual harassment. Survey says that's false. And then later on, when called out, he's like, well, yeah, that did happen, and I knew about the settlements. And then afterwards said the whole thing was a witch hunt. Witch hunt. Now, does that not sound familiar? If you want any more proof of why Trump told reporters that Cain is, quote, somebody that just gets it, I don't think I could provide anything better. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.